send out the presidential alert and hit the air raid siren. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout, of course, when we overreact to the football weekend. A lot to overreact to this weekend. Let's start with my three big thoughts. Thought number one, recalibration. Throughout the course of the Texas high school football season, now 7 weeks old, we've seen a lot of changes and craziness at the small school level, but relative stagnation at the top. 6A has been largely untouched by the ebbs and flows of the Texas high school football season. For the most part, it's been steady as she goes. Not a whole lot of changes in the rankings. Same thing with 5A. For the most part, there have been ranked teams beating ranked teams, but there haven't really been these big shakeups. That all changed this week. I feel like we finally got a great data point on the number one team in the state, Allen, and I think that is there any doubt now that they deserve to be, again, I'm not saying that they are locked and loaded, have to be your number one team in the state. I'm not saying they're going to walk to a state championship.
Right.
I will say, though, to hang a 74 burger
on a good Plano East.
On a good Plano East defense is impressive. I have some questions about defense.
Sure.
This was a Plano East offense that did not exactly inspire confidence. And, they give up their fair share of points and yards, but make no mistake, that offense is a flamethrower, and they are a bona fide elite team. I feel like we got a really good we got another a big data point on Temple. They go on the road and beat Killeen. And what had a lot of letdown. And then, of course, there was the Lake Travis Westlake game. And for all the things that we thought could have come out of this game, I don't think 44-14 Westlake was one of them.
Nope.
I don't think anybody saw this coming. A Westlake win? Sure.
Shootout. Right?
Can see that.
Right.
Can see
expect.
that. But 44-14 is a statement-type game. That's twice in a row. Well, set aside the 44 points, which is in and of itself impressive.
Mm-hmm.
The more impressive thing is 14, and that's 2 years in a row now.
Yeah.
That Westlake has held Lake Travis to 14 points. And if you want to talk about what can get them to a state championship, it's that defense. The defense looked fabulous.
Sure.
And when you look at the 6A Division II bracket, I don't know who's going to stop them before a title game.
Right. And you look at that Westlake offense. They want to control the ball. Right. Mm-hmm. Taylor Anderson's not going to throw for 400 yards. Right. Yep. He's not Sam Ellinger. He's not that quarterback. What he does well though is he's able to participate in the running game himself. I believe he had over 100 yards rushing. And last year with Nakia Watson, he was able to 1-2 off that. This year, it was like, okay, it's kind of his show now.
Yeah.
And when you don't have a quarterback that necessarily can spread the field to 5 wide or 4 wide, you want to be able to control the ball, and that's what he was able to do. You want to be able to slow the game down and and bet on your defense a little bit, and they've done that 2 years in a row, and it's worked.
Absolutely correct, but make no mistake, Taylor Anderson was fabulous in this game.
Sure,
Taylor Anderson was great. He was really, really good. But Westlake made a statement on Friday night. And then there's the other wrong kind of statement. Cy-Fair dropped their second in a row. Now, Jersey Village is a good team.
Yeah.
That's a good team that we're not paying attention to. But we had a lot of recalibration in 6A that I think is very, very interesting. That's thought number one. Thought number two, stratification. I think we are now at the point in the college football season where you can look at the 12 FBS teams in Texas and you can break them up into 3, but probably more accurately 4 strata. Okay? There's I think 3 teams at the top that are probably the best in Texas. In some order, North Texas, A&M, and Texas. In some order. Then there is this other layer of teams that are good enough to beat anybody, but a little too inconsistent for my liking.
Sure.
Tech, Houston, TCU. Right there. Then you have a step below with 2 teams that I think are, kind of finding their way. Maybe not, probably I would just classify them as probably average in SMU and Baylor. Those would be average teams. And then you have, I think,
the bottom. The rest.
You have UTSA, you have Texas State, you have Rice, and you have UTEP. I've got a lot of thoughts. We'll get into those in the power poll. But to me, that those are right now what the strata are, and I feel like it's probably unlikely. Maybe a team like Tech or Houston can make that leap up,
sure,
or they may fall down to the average part.
Right.
But I feel like we're pretty well set in stone as to what these teams are. That's thought number 2, stratification. And thought number 3, stagnation. I don't think that I have ever been less surprised by seeing a graphic of the 2A top 10 than what we saw. Go look at our rankings at texasfootball.com for 2A and for, in a lot of respects, for 3A. And it is not only a bunch of wins for the ranked teams, it was a very chalky week, but winning in ways that you're just like, oh, yeah, we're in district play now. Okay. If there is one, I would say Woodville's win over Buna was really impressive. But like besides that, I mean, it's district play.
Jeez.
And as a result, when you get into the small school ranks, now that we're this deep, there are some big games down the road. We'll talk about one in a minute. But when you get down, when you get down to this point, you're going to start to see this a lot more. Now, you guys were at a game that was not like that. You guys were at Gunner and Holiday, and I know you guys enjoyed yourself, and I know you guys came away impressed with what Gunner had to offer.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, for a while there, Holiday was really, really close. I mean, Gunner pulled away kind of at the end, kind of controlled when they got their feet in the ground on defense, but Holiday hit him early. I believe I was like on the second or third play of the game for them.
Yeah.
On a good run to the right side for a good long touchdown run. But man, that Gunner offense is just something. And I think one of the things me and Max were talking about, you don't really see it because his numbers aren't exactly, insane. But when you watch Dylan Jantz in person, that dude's just a player. Like he whoever gets him, whatever school, wherever he decides to take his talents, they're gonna get someone who just knows how to play football because he does everything for them. He lines up in the Wildcat. He'll be a slot back, receiver, linebacker, safety. He does everything.
He makes
and
every
he's
big
great
play
at
on
it.
defense too. We talk about this a lot. I think we go to these games with different things in mind, what things we're trying to look for. My biggest takeaways were Gunner is very good, but we already knew that. Great facility, something we hadn't seen before. We hadn't been up there. Really great setting for a football game. But yeah, Dylan Jantz, I mean, top 10 player in the state. I think he's got to be in that argument for Mr. Texas football finalist. I think that's going to be a case that we're going to have to go over when the time comes where, I mean, they've had great players in the past, but if you watch them today, he's doing a lot. I mean, he's a really special player. They say we talked to Chris Dodd, who was a wonderful host, the principal at Gunner, former football coach himself. They talk about him, and the radio guys talk about him. This is a once in every 30 years player for a community like that. That's how they feel about him. And it stands out. It shows. And I guess while we're speaking about Gunner, don't you have a little present down there from Principal?
They gave
Principal
me a Greg
Dodd?
Tepper helmet.
They did give you a Greg Tepper helmet. They gave us a bunch of swag. We'll get some Gunner swag on the wall here. Thanks to Chris Dodd for doing that. Like we said, could not be happier with our experience in Gunner. They were fired up. It was a big game. And really, to go back to what Ish started with, to kind of bring this full circle, I felt like they were dominant in the first half. I mean, they threw an interception. Ethan Everson threw an interception that they were within the 20, 25 at that point.
Right.
And then they tried to score in the final seconds, tried that fake field goal, which was
true.
awesome.
Yeah,
they tried the LSU fake field goal where the kicker does a sweep and came up a yard short and then tried one more play and just could not get in. They convert both of those, and that game's a blowout at halftime. We're talking about a 4-touchdown game. And credit to Holiday because they took that and then fought that third quarter and made it a game.
I think we saw them in 7-on-7 Gunner. We saw kind of Ethan's arm a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a little unfair. Like when they have that triple option pistol offense and then they have a guy who can throw. And I can't remember exactly when it was, but he threw a dime.
There were a couple.
Might have been the second or third quarter where I was like, they have a guy who can do that now?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's not fair.
They don't have to use him, but they will.
Yeah.
It was an impressive win for them, and in a lot of ways, it was just a very chalky week in the small school ranks, which is unlike what we've seen.
Right.
It was a rare respite
right.
in the kind of surging tides of the small school ranks. That's my 3 big thoughts. 3 helmet stickers. A helmet sticker to Port Neches Groves quarterback Rashawn Johnson. He continues to personally victimize Crosby. 14 for 24, 163 yards and 2 touchdowns, added 147 yards and 3 scores on the ground in a big win over Crosby. Texas A&M tight end Jace Sternberger. This guy was the man for A&M in their win over South Carolina. I believe it was 7 catches for 145 yards and a score. He was their number 1 target in a day when the offense up and down, but he was the consistent threat for them. He gets a helmet sticker. And a helmet sticker for Dangerfield quarterback Jakari Woods. He ran 9 times for 193 yards and 3 scores. He also threw 17 times, completed 13 of them for 277 yards and 3 scores, 2 rushing 2-point conversions, and a passing 2-point conversion. That is quite a day. I had to go back and calculate what his yards per touch were, but that's impressive. He gets a helmet sticker as well. 3 teams to watch. Watch out for Paris. Boy, howdy.
Yeah.
They bodied Salina by 40.
Yeah.
This week, Argyle. And they keep rolling like this. You better watch out, Argyle, because Paris coming. They look good in this one. Tarleton State, the unbeaten Texans, now at the front runners in the Lone Star Conference.
Yeah, man.
Gotta be. They beat A&M Commerce.
Got to beat Midwestern State. Won't be easy, but they're in the driver's seat.
Texans looking great. And San Antonio Wagner beat up on San Antonio Highlands in a way that is not very nice of them, but a team to keep an eye on when you start to look at the way brackets are going to break down. 5A Division 1 Region 4 is going to be pretty wide open, and Wagner looks like a team that can take advantage of that. And 3 to C, I'm going to stop doing teams to worry about because
it's mean.
It's mean. Childerson Canadian, that's the game. That's the game. Every other game's nice. This is the game. Get if you have the means to get to Canadian. Get to Canadian for this one. North Texas and UAB is suddenly a super fascinating matchup.
Ooh.
And UAB looked really good against Rice, although that wasn't very hard. But North Texas, big win over Southern Miss, big game in Conference USA. And Cy Falls and Jersey Village. Suddenly, the District 17 6A title is back on the line. And Jersey Village and Cy Falls fighting for it. Massive game to see down in the Houston area. Those are my 3 big. Those are my 3 to see, and that is Monday Morning Fallout.